This officially known as the Eagles Building, or maybe you know it as CAFFE MOLISE. But for kids in the 80s and 90s, we knew it as the Bay. The Fraternal Order of the Eagles had this building commissioned in 1915. Fraternal orders were all the rage back then. Of course, you have the Masons, the Odd Fellows, the Elks Lodge. This would have been the Eagles Club. Built by a guy named Niels Lillenberg in 1915. He was actually a famous architect, but he built like a dozen buildings in the Salt Lake area, including a bunch of churches and the old Jordan High School. So it was a huge hot spot during the Roaring 20s. They would do dancing, they would do mingling, they would do huge, lavish parties like in The Great Gatsby, just like you've heard about and seen in the movies. They would have secret underground boxing rings in the basement, only I can't talk about it because, you know, it's the first rule of Fight Club, is you don't talk about Fight Club. Look out, tumbleweed! So then the Great Depression hits, and the Eagles, they move out. Sat vacant for a couple of years. Right after World War II, it became the American Legion. They stayed around for a while. After that, the American Insurance Company moved in. They did life insurance out of this building for 35 years, until 1985, when they moved to a different location, and once again, the building sat empty. Okay, so you can see where they've kept a lot of the original like brickwork, not just from the Bay, but dating all the way back to when this was the Eagles Club. But it's cool, man. You can see like the original brickwork, and then you follow it, and it comes in here. This is this was the main floor dance floor when this was the Bay. It's surreal because so much of it looks familiar to when I was like, you know, 21 years old and rocking out here at the Bay, and then you see like where the mirrors used to be, and some of the stuff that still looks the same, but it's also totally different. It's almost like being in a dream version of the Bay. It's kind of weird, especially when you see that guy. I'm not gonna lie, the restaurant is amazing, but this couch is awful. I cannot. So CAFFE MOLISE, they've been a part of Salt Lake City for 25 years now. They used to be over like First South, that area by City Creek. They were near a place called the Dead Goat, which was iconic in Salt Lake for a long time. And when that closed, they acquired the old bar, which actually dates back to the 1800s. I always think of this building as the Bay, but it was a lot of things before that, and most of them didn't involve, you know, kids dancing to culture club songs. So like this is where you go to hear like the house music. You hear like Chemical Brothers and you know, Daft Punk and that. So in here, yeah, where it looks like they bake bread in here now. In the early 1900s, this was an underground boxing ring, like Fight Club, like back in the day. So you remember the inside of the inside of the Bay was all blacked out, and most of that's been sandblasted. So when you come to CAFFE MOLISE, check out the walls because they're kind of textured from when they sandblasted, and then something about, you know, everybody in Utah built out of sandstone, not realizing that, oh hey, it's a really soft kind of rock, it's all gonna deteriorate. But up here, check it out. You've got some of the original black paint still survives. So if you're like, oh man, I wonder if there's anything from the Bay still in there. Yep. That one spot, right there. Everything else is gone. All right, so third floor. This is where the club was, which the windows behind me here, you can see, that's like you'd be driving down West Temple and you'd see all sorts of lights coming out of the windows. That was when this was the Bay, and this was like where it was at. So you'd have like country night. There was a lot of new wave night, but this was like the nice kid club. It was an 18 and older club. And so even though I was like 16, I'd walk up and they'd be like, how old are you? And I'd be like, I'm 20. And you give them a $20 bill and they'd let you in. It was awesome. Right, that was the stage, was right there. So I saw Vanilla Ice here. That had to have been like 2010, maybe 2009. It wasn't the infamous show where Vanilla Ice got beat up afterwards. That was over at the Tower Theater. It wasn't flat top Vanilla Ice though. It was like like Limp Bizkit Vanilla Ice. So it was the Bay for a long time, right? And then it was Club Vortex. I know Club Vortex bounced around a little bit. And then it was Club Splash. And Club Splash was so bizarre. So there were showers in the corners here at the club, and people would dance in them with their clothes on. It was bizarre. It was so weird. Hey, what can we do to make this club more dangerous? Dude, we should add showers to the club. You mean that are actually spraying water? Yeah, man! So not only did they add showers, but they put in a pool. This was the pool, and that pool was terrifying. I know what you're thinking, like, hey, we've got a nightclub, and it's filled with intoxicated adolescents. Here, you know what we should do? We should add a pool to the club. And it was not a good idea. So they actually found a car dealership, and they found remaindered bricks when they tore down that building, and it fit the aesthetic for what they were going for when they built the restaurant. So they're like, we'll put this here, and that way they can put the elevator in, which is great because there's a whole lot of stairs in that building. So you can see they've got a pile of bricks behind me here. This right here is the only damage that the building sustained in the earthquake of 2020, which consider there was a lot of damage done, but you've got a building that's over 100 years old, and the only thing that falls is this tiny little brick parapet here. I mean, man, they don't build them like that anymore. Or maybe they do. I guess we'll have to wait 100 years to find out. So, of course, our thanks to CAFFE Molise for letting us check out the Old Bay nightclub, relive the glory days of the early 1990s. That was a lot of fun going in there. And I'm going to go in and grab myself some lunch. So, in the meantime, like it, subscribe to it, comment below on what you want to see next time on Cool Stuff in Utah. Oh, and like it on social media already. Seriously, I need those likes. Like, really.